All right. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? How are you? I mean, I already saw you, Heather. So I know you're good. You're probably sore on your hips. um, for today's class, we're going to do, I think, a pretty mild class, but what do I know? I always say that. Carita's like, what? um, so for today's class, we'll need a block. If you don't have a block, that's totally okay. It's just a suggestion. They're always, good to have around just in case. And yeah, whenever you are ready, go to your mat, lay down, start relaxing.
Is it just one block or two?
You can have two if you want to, because
I'm
believe me,
just
I can
using
always.
them to prop up my laptop and need to know if I should
Oh,
take it to the
no, 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 you're good. You're good. You're good. One block is enough. If you have two blocks, that's even better. Yeah. Go ahead, lay down with your back on your mat. Find a little bit of a shavasana. I'm going to mute everyone. Start noticing your body. Start noticing your breath. How are you feeling today? Are you a little bit sleepy? Do you have a lot of energy? Does your body hurt? Is everything feeling great today? Doesn't matter what it is, acknowledge how you're feeling and start getting a little bit of control over your breath with your mouth closed. Inhale and physically feel how your throat opens. And on your exhale, your throat closes in a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Throughout the class, you are welcome to have this breath, ujjayi breath. It always helps me to come back to the present when my mind starts to wander, and it may be helpful to you too. When you're ready, stretch your hands over your head and your feet on the opposite end and get yourself a nice stretch. Inhale to stretch, point your toes, even arch your back. Exhale to relax. Let's try two more times. Inhale to stretch and even take a yawn. Exhale to relax. One last time, the biggest yet. Inhale, stretch, fake a yawn, arch your backs, point your toes so very much. And on your exhale, bring your knees to your chest. One inhale here, and one exhale to soften. If you have your block nearby, place your block in between your hips, uh, in between your knees, my bad, and bring your arms onto the side, to the sides on a T position. Just holding here. As of right now, it doesn't really matter if your knees are closer to your chest or more on a tabletop position. Take a nice inhale in here, and on your exhale, tilt your hips to your right. Inhale for center. Exhale to the other side. Continue doing this at least three more times. And I want you, every time you inhale, to fill your belly with air really expanded. And on the exhale, you contract everything. Next time you're in center, take a nice deep inhale, expand everything like a balloon, and drop your knees to the right and hold. Notice how you're twisting from your belly button. Come back to center and twist to the other side. Hold in there. Engage in your core to protect your back. It's always a good idea. Come back to center. Release your block to the floor. Hug your knees to your chest. And eventually find a happy baby position. Bring your hands on the outside of your feet and pull your legs down towards the floor. You can take as many or as little movements as you want in here. You can rock from side to side. You can even try to do some like circles on your legs if you need to. This is one of my favorite poses. Release, relax your lower back into the floor and play around with the placement of your hips. When you're ready, bring your knees close together, one arm above your head, over your head, and turn to one side, eventually making it to a tabletop position. Take your time. Once in your tabletop position, let us go for some cats and cows. Inhale, look to the ceiling, drop your belly. Exhale to tug your tailbone in. Again, inhale and exhale. The next time, let's do this a couple more times. And come back to center and let's do what I like to call the puppy. Look at your tail. Look at your tail on the side. You're twisting to one side and into center and then twisting to the other. I feel like everything can go into a puppy or a baby in yoga. Go from side to side. Next time you're in center, tuck your toes and just hover slightly off the ground. Hover your knees off the ground. Take a nice inhale. Make sure your belly button is engaged and just move your knees to one side. And center. And both of your knees to the other side. A little bit of twisting and engaging. Center. One more time to the one side, the first side. Center. Next side. Center and find your downward facing dog. Take whatever movements you need in here. Paddle your feet. Wiggle your legs. Shake anything and everything that your body is asking you for today. When you're ready, look to the front, lift your heels off the ground, and take few little steps up until the front of your mat. Meet me on a passive forward fold. For this, you can hook your peace fingers onto your big toe or place your hands underneath your feet. Bend your knees as much as you want to. This is a passive forward fold. Let your head drop. Let your spine decompress. Wherever you are, don't let go of your grip. Find a halfway lift. Stretch your legs. And fall forward. One more time. Halfway lift. And fall forward. Let go of your grip and as slowly as you can, roll all the way to standing. Go even slower. When you reach the top of your mat, roll your shoulders up and sigh. Tadasana. Hope everyone enjoys their practice. Find yourself looking for your ujjayi breath every time that your mind wanders. On an inhale, reach your arms to the ceiling, interlace your fingers, and bend to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right and hold. Listen carefully from here. Inhale, twist towards the ceiling. Exhale to center. Inhale, twist towards the ground. Exhale to center. And come back to straight position. Let's do the other side. Inhale and bend to the left. Hold. Find your place evenly distributed on both of your feet. And when you're ready, twist to the ceiling and center and twist to the floor. Center. Bring yourself back up and find your hands to your heart. Let's go for 3 sun salutations. Inhale, reach your arms to the ceiling. Exhale to fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and find a plank. Hold in there. Inhale, drop your knees to the ground and lower yourself on an exhale. Inhale, baby cobra once. Exhale. Tuck your toes. Find your downward facing dog. Without bending your knees, take steps to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Bend your knees and reach up to the ceiling on inhale. Come right down and exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step into your plank and hold. Inhale there. Option to tap your knees to the ground or lower your whole self without the knees to the ground. Inhale, 2 baby cobras. And down. Inhale, baby cobra. Down. Tug your toes. Go to your plank or tabletop into your downward dog. Inhale, look up. Lift your heels off the ground and without bending your knees, walk forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Last time, reach your arms to the ceiling on an inhale. Right away, go all the way down on an exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, chaturanga, or halfway, all the way to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold in there. If you're ready, lift your heels off the ground, bend your knees a lot, and hop, step, or walk to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees a lot and bring your upper body up to Utkatasana, chair pose. Take a nice inhale here and settle on an exhale. Bring this pose is really important. It's a lot more about the knee traction. You want to send your knees a little bit farther back until they're in line with your ankles, as opposed to hinging at your hips a lot. You can always bring your hands to your heart center or your hips, whatever it is that you need today. Inhale, stretch your legs, kick your right leg to the front, and find a low lunge. Bring your arms to the floor, tap your knee down, and come up with your upper body. Place one hand on your lower abs and the other hand on the back of your body, on your sacrum. And make sure that you are on a 90-degree angle with your knee and you're still finding the stretch of the front leg. Notice if one hip is farther front than the other, and with your hands manually fix that. Both hips are looking forward. Great. Bring your arms to the ceiling, hinge forward and towards the floor. Now, inhale to look up, exhale to hinge at your hips, find half splits, half Hanuman. Same thing in here. Assess your hips. Usually in this pose, one hip likes to go way farther front. So make sure both of them are in line, even if that means that you don't go as low. Yeah. Come back to the front on an inhale and bring yourself up into low lunge on an exhale. Again, from your belly button, reach to the ceiling, twist towards your left, and find a prayer twist. Your right elbow towards your left knee. When you're ready, tuck your back toes, lift your right knee, and with a hop step forward into your prayer twist. Take a nice inhale here. And exhale to melt down to the ground. Reach up to the ceiling on an inhale. And right away, find your chair pose on the other side. Exhale. Again, assess your hips. Make sure they're still on the same line. With every exhale, find a deeper position. Inhale, stretch your legs, kick your left foot to the front, and swing it back, eventually making it into a low lunge, tapping your knee on the ground. Same thing, you can keep your hands up, straight up, or you can bring them towards your hips to make sure they're square. Notice what happens when you play around with your hips or tucking your tailbone or sticking your bum out. What feels better on your body? When you're ready, reach up, forward, and towards the floor. Inhale to stretch, exhale to hinge. Half Hanuman. You can be either all the way sit on your heel or slightly stretch. Slightly higher up. Come back up to the front. Reach your arms to the ceiling. Inhale to strengthen your spine, stretch your spine. Exhale to twist and find your prayer. Before we lift off, correct, left elbow on right knee. Before we lift off, make sure that your lower abs are engaged. You're putting your weight on the front leg and lift that knee off the ground. Take a nice inhale here, and on exhale, step that foot forward for your prayer twist. Ideally, your bum wants to be below your heart. Great. One last breath in here. Inhale. Exhale to melt down to the center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to melt. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Exhale to fall forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, hop, step, or jump into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Paddle your feet, wiggle around, and on your next inhale, reach your left foot up to the ceiling. Take a big step in front of your hands, in between your hands, and bring your next leg beside it. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, place your hands in front of you, palms facing the ceiling. Bring your right elbow underneath the left for your eagle arms and sit on your chair. Eventually, find an eagle pose, right knee on top of your left knee. Assess your hips. Are they square? Make sure that right hip is going backwards. And sit lower with every exhale. With the strength of your lower abs, bring your right leg to your hip height. Stretch that leg in front of you. Swing it all the way to your back for your high lunge. Hold in here, or you can find a little bit of a back bend. Inhale, stretch your front knee and pivot towards the side of your mat. You can let go of your arms, stretch them to the side, and dive forward. You are in a wide-legged forward fold. Option to stay here, or we can add a little bit of a twist. Bring your left hand underneath your face, from your belly button super engaged. Find your right hand all the way up to the ceiling on a twist. And then bring it underneath, tread it, and grab, reach for your left leg into a nice twist. Yeah. You can move your left hand around if you want more depth. Wherever it feels more comfortable to you, do check in. Today, we're only checking in on our hips and the engagement of your belly to protect your back with all of this twist. When you're done, come back to center. Take a halfway lift. Bend your knees, open your toes to the side, and bring yourself up to standing. Roll your shoulders on an inhale and down on an exhale. Bring your hands up to the ceiling on an inhale and find yourself on a warrior two. Your front leg, knees and toes are pointing forward. Your back leg, you want your foot to be on an angle. Your heel, if possible, it's slightly behind your toes. Yeah. Hanging here. Take a nice inhale and sit a little bit lower on an exhale. Revise your hips. This time there's two options. They can be completely looking towards the side of your mat, or they can be going slightly towards the right corner of your mat. Whatever you choose to do, your tailbone is pointing down. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale to stretch your front knee and reach up and forward with your left hand until you find yourself in Trikonasana, triangle pose, with your right hand towards the ceiling. Option two, heel toe your back foot if this is too wide for you. For this pose, notice your hips. Your hips should go slightly towards the floor and towards that right corner of your mat. But your shoulders You want to stack them one on top of each other as if you were going to press your shoulders in the back wall of your room. Notice the twist. When you're ready, reach that top arm towards the front and then to the floor. And find yourself in a big squat. Your feet are mat width distance apart and sit your bum low. You can bring your hands towards your chest, towards your heart, and try to find a diagonal, a straight line from the top of your head to your tailbone. It can be on a diagonal a little bit, depending on your bone structure and your mobility, or if possible, try to make a straight line. Whereas your bum is reaching, your tailbone is reaching right towards the floor. Your spine is long. When you're ready, as slow as you can, push down on the ground and slowly make your way up. Stretch your knees. And eventually bring your feet together. Roll your shoulders up and side. Inhale, reach your arms up and bring them in front of you, palms to the ceiling. Other side, left elbow underneath right. Sit on your chair and bring your left knee on top, crossing of the right knee. Eagle pose, Garudasana. There's a few options of getting into this pose. You can find your chair first and then cross your legs, or you can try to do that together. Notice if your left hip is a little bit forward, bring it back. Together, use your lower abs to bring your left knee towards your hip height. Stretch that leg in front of you and swing it back for your high lunge. Unravel your arms. Inhale to stretch your front leg. Exhale to twist, to go towards the side of your mat and dive forward for wide-legged forward fold left side. Take a nice inhale in here and then an exhale. And this side, can we try and make our toes a little bit closer inwards than our heels? Your toes are pointing towards the center. Your heels are slightly pointing towards the edges of your mat. Bring your right hand underneath your face. Engage your belly button towards your spine. And on an inhale, reach your left hand towards the ceiling. And then thread it underneath to reach your right leg. Find your twist. Once you've had enough, come back to center. Pivot your toes outwards this time. Bend your knees slightly and roll yourself up. Reach your hands to the ceiling on an inhale. Exhale, find downward, warrior two. I always make that mistake. Warrior two. Notice the stretch that's happening on your back leg. The front of your hips getting a little bit stretched. The calf might be getting a little bit of a stretch. With every exhale, go deeper into your pose, taking care of that knee that's not collapsing, the front knee is not collapsing inwards. And most importantly, relax that tailbone to find more depth. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Right hand comes up to the ceiling. Exhale to stretch your front leg, tip at your hips, and find Trikonasana, triangle pose. checking on your hips. Find the twist. Shoulders stack one on top of the other. For a little bit extra engagement, flick your pinky finger forward as if you were scooping ice cream. When you're ready, circle your arm front and down towards your mat in plank pose. Inhale as slow as you can. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale and flutter your lips on an exhale. Bring your left leg up to the ceiling and take a medium-sized step onto your mat. And make sure that your feet are not one directly behind the other. You want to have them slightly apart as if they were in two different train tracks. When you're ready, come all the way up and find your warrior one. This time, both of your hips are facing forward to the front of your mat. Even more so than before, find that stretch in your calf and into the front of your hip. Your back toes can be looking outwards a little bit. When you're ready, reach towards the ceiling. An option to keep your front knee bent or straight, tip forward into your pyramid pose. You can grab, reach for the ceiling and stretch that front knee. Very important that your hips are level. You can always bring one hand towards your sacrum and manually make sure one hip is not higher than the other. Bring your right hand inside your left foot and reach your left hand towards the ceiling. Revolved triangle. Your hips are square. You're twisting from your belly button up. And with every exhale, find a deeper twist. Make sure it's your muscles that are finding the twist and not some sort of momentum. Once you had enough, come back to center and find your plank. On an inhale, hold there. On an exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana as slow as you can. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, a medium step forward. Find your feet on different tracks and bring yourself up for warrior one. Relax your tailbone to the ground. Both of your hips are facing forward. You're going to inhale towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge on your hips. Find your pyramid pose. When you're ready, bring your left hand inside of your right foot and find your revolved triangle. This is a great moment if you want to block. You can always have that block underneath your head. Find that little twist. And come back down. Inhale to find yourself on the standing splits on that leg. Exhale, bend your knee, bring your knee to your chest. Inhale to stretch your standing split. Exhale to bring your knee to your chest. Inhale to extend. Exhale, knee to your chest. Switch your legs. Right leg up. Inhale to stretch. Exhale to your chest. Really feel that compression of your core. All the way to the ceiling and all the way in. All the way to the ceiling. And this time, lower that leg to the ground and square your hips and find your runner's lunge. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, find your left elbow to left knee into your extended side angle. Your front knee is bent. And we're in extended side. Let's flow from there. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Inhale to melt into your front knee. Exhale to find your extended side angle. One more time. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale to reverse. Inhale to drop your elbow to your knee. Exhale to side angle. I think I like. One last time. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale to reverse. Inhale to drop your elbow, and this time find your floating half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. You can always use a block underneath your hand or a water bottle or anything that is nearby. And as much as you can, try to take weight away from that bottom hand. If possible, stretch your top arm to the ceiling and find that stacking of the shoulders. Flex your top foot a lot. When you're ready, place your hands on the floor, square your hips, and cross your right foot behind your left foot. Find a little bit of a stretch in your hamstrings. As low as you can. Roll all the way up. Leave your feet where they are. And bring your left leg onto your tree pose. Your left leg, your left foot is against your right thigh or calf or ankle, but not against your knee. Find whatever expression of your hands you need. And relax your tail. When you're ready, bring your knee face front, stretch your leg, bring your feet together. Walk to the front of your mat if you're not already there. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to chaturanga, hop, step, or walk, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. When you are ready, lift your heels up, bend your knees, and hop, step, or walk to the front of your mat. We're going to repeat our little splits. Reach your right leg to the ceiling and then to your chest. Towards the ceiling. And to your chest. You can always find a halfway lift with every reach up. And towards your chest, find that little cocoon. Bring your knee higher, closer to your chest, and switch your legs. Left leg up on an inhale. and bend them. Then exhale. Inhale to reach and lengthen. Exhale to compress and engage. Last time, inhale to reach and lengthen, and this time land on the back into your runner's lunge. Float your hands beside your body. Inhale to reach up with your hands. Exhale, warrior two. Relax your tailbone and sink lower. Let us float. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale to melt your elbow to your knee. Your front knee is bent. Exhale to your extended side angle. Notice where your upper body is. Is it still with your shoulders stacked on top of each other? Inhale to warrior two. Exhale to reverse. Inhale, knee, elbow to knee. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale to reverse. Inhale, elbow to knee. And go into your half moon. Floating half moon. Flex that top foot a lot. Try to stack one hip bone on top of the other. And same is true for your shoulders. If it's available to you, you can always look up towards the ceiling. And when you had enough, bring your hands down, square your hips, and step your left leg behind your right leg. Find a little bit of a stretch in your hamstrings. And as slow as you can, roll up. Bring your right leg up to knee height, hip height, and find your triples. You can bring your arms to your chest, to your heart. You can extend your arms up and open them like a tree. Whatever variation of arms, take a moment to check in with your breath. Are you still here with us in the same room, virtual room? Is your tailbone relaxed? When you're ready, bring your hands back to your heart, your knee to the front, and step your feet together. On your own timing, let's flow 3 times. Inhale to reach forward. Exhale to lower. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hop, step, or walk, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to reach your heels high. Bend at your knees and hop, step, or walk forward. Roll the way up. Inhale. Hands to your heart. Exhale. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. You can continue to go at your own pace. Make sure that you are coordinating your breath with your movements. Every time you go, an upward movement is an inhale. Every time you go, a downward movement is exhale. Last time. Take your time. Once you're done, meet me on a downward facing dog. You can always take different variations that are in tune with what your body needs. Once you find your downward dog position, let's take a last deep inhale. and side. Inhale and flutter your lips. Inhale, open your mouth, stick your tongue out. Lion's breath. When you're ready, lift your heels up, bend at your knees, and find a seated position. Bring your legs to the front. And we are not done. We're still up for a little bit of core exercise. If you have your block nearby, grab it. If you don't, or if you don't want to, then don't do it. Yeah, we're going to bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, and without the block first, bring your hands in front of you and just roll down to your spine until your tailbone, just that, and come back up with a straight back. And then notice how your tailbone is tucking to make way for you to roll down. Yes, that's the one place that we are going to make sure is there. This is for you not to have so much strain on your hip flexors, actually. If your hips hurt a little bit, roll a little bit farther down. Once you're ready, come back to straight spine. Bring your block in front of you. You're grabbing your block, trying not to grip it with your fingers as much as you can. Just press against it. And exhale to go down. Inhale up and twist to the right. Inhale up and twist to the left. Inhale up and twist to the right. Last time, inhale up and twist to the left. This time, float your legs and twist. You can come back a little bit in the middle or just stay where you are. Exhale every time you twist. Try to keep your knees facing the ceiling. When you had enough, do two more. And when you are done with that, bring your blood to the side and melt your way down. Let's grab, have your block nearby just in case. And let's go for a bit of a bridge pose. Bring your feet to the ground and leverage from your hands on the floor. On an inhale, basically it's the reverse of what we just did. Peel your tailbone off the ground until you lift your hips. We're ideally on a diagonal pose. And come back down, melt your upper back down. One more time, inhale here. And peel your tailbone first and push. Trust your hips to the ceiling. This time, holding here. You always have the option to grip your hands, clasp your hands. You can shove your fingers, shove your shoulders underneath your back to reach for your hands. Stay here or reach for your block and place it underneath your hips and find a bit of a restorative bridge. Wherever you are, just for funsies, lift your right heel off the floor and down. Left heel up and down. Right heel up and down. And left and down. Come back all the way down to the ground. And when you're ready, we're going to go for a bit of a restorative stretching of our hips. Lift your hips a little bit. Bring your block underneath your sacrum. and just hanging here. There is three settings on your block. Just choose the one that accommodates you the best. Make sure that your back is not arched whatsoever. You want to place that block right on the flat part of your lower back. There's a few different options. We can stretch one leg at a time or the two of them. Wiggle your hips around until you find a place where you feel your back is protected. You can even stretch your hands overhead. In there. If you don't have a block or if you don't feel like doing this, you can always go into constructive rest, which is feet apart, knee knocking into each other together and just rest there. There's always the option to bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly if you're in constructive rest. Come back with your legs and let us do a little variation of sleeping hero. If you have the block, stay here. I will, in a second, cue if you don't have a block. But if you have a block, lift your right heel off the ground and start bringing your foot closer to your bum until eventually you can reach it with your hand and let that knee drop towards the floor. Very important that your core is still engaged so that your back is protected. Correct. If you don't have a block, it's the same. You can always just go into that. You can shove your hips a little bit on the side, or you can always go in all the way onto the side of your body and just stretch the front of your hip. Grab your foot in the back. You can rest your hand on your arm. Stay there for a couple more breaths. When you're ready, switch to the other side. The direction of the knee. Um, the only important thing that you need to know is that it's not painful to you. Depending on your bone structure, your knee might be geared a little bit towards one side, maybe it's naturally pointing towards the center, maybe it's naturally pointing inwards. But that knee that you're stretching, that leg, you want to target the front of your hip. This is not so much of a back bend as it is of a hip stretch. When you're ready, come back to center and eventually lift your hips off the block and take that block away. Rock your knees from side to side. Your feet are mat with distance. And come back to center. Stretch your right heel towards the ceiling. Cross it on top of your left leg and find your thread the needle. Reach in between and bring your legs closer to your chest. Remember to be always flexing your feet, protecting your knee. Notice again where your hips are. Is one hip dipping a lot more than the other? Try to square those hips as much as you can. You can always be reaching for your chin if that is more accessible to you instead of behind your leg. Leave your legs the way they are. Stretch your arms on either side on a T position and lower that leg to the floor, leaving your legs the way they are. And just tilt your left knee towards the floor until it reaches a nice stretch, a nice twist. We're still having your treadmill legs. This is a nice gentle twist that also has a little bit of a hip stretch. Try to relax into the pose. Take one last inhale. And on your exhale, engage your belly and come back to the center. Switch your legs. Stretch your left leg to the ceiling and cross it on top of the other. Thread the needle. You can reach in between your hands and bring your legs closer to your chest. When you're ready, lower your right leg to the ground, stretch your arms to either side, and find your twist with middle legs. Take one last inhale. And on exhale, come back to center. Bring your knees to your chest. Take whatever movements that you need here. If you need to find some circle of your legs or just stay in stillness, whatever it is that your body is craving. Eventually, find your child's happy baby pose. Put your hands on the outside of your feet. Your elbows are inside of your knees. You can rock from side to side or just stay there. When you're ready, bring the soles of your feet to touch and your legs to the ground for a reclined cobbler's pose. Your knees can be as bent or as straight as it is comfortable to you. You can either stay here or stretch your legs long for Shavasana. Stay here as long as you want. Fall asleep. Take a nice nap. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste. I'm gonna go, but you are free to stay there at home as long as you want. Hope I'll see you soon. And if I don't see you, happy holidays.